Welcome to the 87th episode of Lalitha Divya Rahasya Sahasranam Stotra. The 1,000 energy forms of unconditional cosmic source of Universal Mother, not only propagating the energy, 1,000 energy forms and training the faculties, but in the process, through these 1,000 energy forms, illustrating the history of the universe that pertains to not only planet Earth, but the previous world, that is the world of Mars. To that extent, 11 generations of Mars, the humanity of Mars, the human generations, 11 human generations in Mars world, and at least 13 generations of the modern human history on planet Earth are being covered through this sacred Lalitha Sahasranam. That is the effect of Lalitha Sahasranam, describing the history of time with highest precision and accuracy. So let us move on. The next nama is Mahakamesha mahishi. Mahakamesha mahishi, it is the accumulated Kamesha, the energies, forms of Kamesha, the cumulative energy forms of Kamesha that resided in the body of Mahayogi, which is devoid of the soul energy. Soul has departed. Unfortunately, sadly, Mahayogi has departed from this universe, from this world, through Maheshwara Mahakalpa Mahatandava Sakshini, which is also coincided with the end of the Mars world. The super alignment of all the living beings with the Mahayogi triggered the magnetic storm, causing end of world in Mars. So this is an astonishing act performed by Mahayogi. So his soul has departed. Since he was controlling the entire civilization, the desires of entire civilization were controlled through Mahayogi. So if we take all the living beings' desires, that is the circle of Karta Karma Kriya, the desire, that is Kama, that is urge to do the Karmacharana, the thought process to carry out the Karmacharana. So all those circles fit into the big circle of Mahayogi. So if we consider all the small circles of all the living beings as Kamesha, then cumulative superset of all these circles of desires of all the living beings becomes Mahakamesha, that is big circle, superset circle of Mahayogi. And after the departure of the soul of Mahayogi from his body, the circle of Mahakamesha that is present in the body of Mahayogi, that is Mahakamesha mahishi. So this the entering of Mahakamesha energy into Mahayogi has happened prior to his departure. That means when he was being promoted to Mahayogi, when he was controlling the 7 crore Magnanis, and through that controlling the rest of the population, controlling, performing the act of Mahayogi. At that time, during the time, perhaps this Mahakamesha energy has entered into the body of Mahayogi, or the Mahasana, through which the Universal Mother was given access to his body. So at that time, along with the Universal Mother, Mahakamesha would have entered. So the departed soul from the body has left Mahakamesha in the body of Mahayogi, that is Mahakamesha Mahishi. So this is the nama that is immediately after the end of Mars world. So the next nama is Mahatripura Sundari. Now, through the previous nama Mahakamesha Mahishi, the Universal Father, which is the superset of all the desires, was still present in the body of Mahayogi, which is devoid of the soul energy. So, through Mahatripura Sundari, the Universal Mother has entered into the body of Mahayogi. So, what is this Mahatripura Sundari? The grandhis of the Tripura is essentially the three grandhis of Tripura is three grandhis of Mahayogi. So Mahatripura Sundari is essentially, it means the three grandhis of the body of Mahayogi, which is devoid of the soul energy, is in a flawless state. Usually the grandhis, the Brahma Grandhi, Vishnu Grandhi and Rudra Grandhi, they act as a filter, so they accumulate a lot of jargon, a lot of garbage. But in the case of Mahayogi, they are in a flawless state. That is why it is Sundari. Sundari is beautiful. They are like pick and clean. So that is Mahatripura Sundari. So in the previous nama, Mahabuddhir, Mahasiddhir, Mahayogeshwareswari. So these attributes, the Mahayogis grandhis were filled with Mahabuddhir, Mahasiddhir, Mahayogeshwareswari. So there was, because he has used most of this, whatever he has accumulated, he has used in the Mahayaga, the ritual. So there was no residual effects present in the three grandhis. So they are flawless. They are as beautiful as a mirror polished cleanliness or a beautifully decorated item. And this Mahatripura, essentially, Tripura is the three grandhis of normal being. Mahatripura is accumulated three grandhis of all the living beings. And Mahatripura Sundari, essentially, it is a form of the Universal Mother. So when the Universal Father is still there, the Universal Mother is also should be there. That is Mahatripura Sundari, which is coinciding with the three grandhis of the Mahayogi, the body of the Mahayogi, which is devoid of the soul energy. So this sloka is two namas, Mahakamesha Mahishi, Mahatripura Sundari. So through Mahakamesha, the Universal Father, that is Mahakamesha, who is beyond the desires, who can control the desires, the superset of that desireless state of Mahakamesha was present in the body in unison with present in the body, providing the intellect, the training to the intellect, and this is in unison with the personality, which is being filled with Mahatripura Sundari. That is the form of the Universal Mother. So the next Nama is Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya. Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya. So Chatushashti is essentially 64. So Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya means the Mahatripura Sundari, who is the universal, who is a form of Universal Mother, performing rituals to the body of Mahayogi in 64 different forms, 64 different rituals performed by the Universal Mother to the body of Mahayogi, that is Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya. So that means the body of Mahayogi is being taken care by the Universal Mother and Universal Father, none other than the Universal Mother and Universal Father. So that is the effect of the Mahayogi. So through Mahabuddhir, Mahasiddhir, Mahayogeshwareswari, the 9 Indriyas got merged into the 3 grandhis of Mahayogi. So these 9 indriyas, or 9 the 5 senses and 4 faculties, when they interact with the 7 Kundalini chakras, that becomes 7 into 9, that is product of 7 into 9 is 63. That means how many ways the interaction of 7 Kundalini chakras can happen with the 9 indriyas, that is 4 faculties and 5 senses. So that number is 63, and when the 63 is completed and when 63 is surpassed, it becomes 64. That is why it is Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya. So essentially the merging process is being untied or unfolded by Universal Mother in the form of the rituals performed, that is Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya. So after performing these rituals, the Universal Mother and Universal Father leave the exit from the body of Mahayogi. That is Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya. Now Parasurama, in one of the scripture known as Kalpa Sutra, ancient scripture, he talks about these 64 rituals. So the next nama is Chatushashryu Kalaamayi, Chatushashti Kalaamayi. So this is essentially the decoration of the body with 64 different forms of art forms. So the Universal Mother and Universal Father, before exiting the body, they are decorating the body. After performing the rituals, they are decorating the body with 64 different art forms. So it was said in the scriptures there are 64 different arts. There are 64 different fine arts are there. In this dance, the singing, then the the formation of the statues, that is called Silpakala, the mimicry, etc., etc. So many are there, and these are 64 different forms. So even today, there are communities who make living by practicing some of these fine arts that happens through the generations. So the after unfolding or untying the nine indriyas that are merged into the three grandhis, the interactions of this nine grandhis with the seven Kundalini chakras, the untying process is Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya. After untying them, decorating them with the 64, that means each interaction of the seven Kundalini chakras with the nine indriyas, each interaction is being mapped and decorated with one fine art form. That probably this is how the Mahayogi would have operated. So, as a gratitude, as a gesture, as a token of appreciation, the Universal Mother decorates all these interactions, different interaction. After untying them, each is being decorated with one fine art. That is Chatushashryu kalaamayi. Now, this Chatushashryi, it has got a lot of significance. The underlying mechanism we've already discussed, that is a product of 7 into 9. So in Ramayana, that is Valmiki's Ramayana, when Valmiki questions Narada, is there anybody who is having the 16 characteristics, that is Shodasha Guna, Narada in return describes Rama with 64 gunas. That means 4 times what Valmiki has asked. So the Parasurama in Kalpasutra has already described about this 64 characteristics. So perhaps Parasurama would, which is the incarnation prior to the Rama, he probably knew that Rama would enter into this world with 64 characteristics or Chatushashryu Guna. So hence he would have highlighted this significance of 64 in Kalpasutra. So similarly, the gurus in the Saiva, the hierarchy, the Saiva followers, there are 64 of them. They are called Nayanars. The 64 Nayanars in Saiva, Saiva Mata. So the Rama in Treta Yuga, the question is, has he saturated in 64 different gunas or 64 characteristics? The answer is no. The lifetime of Rama was he chosen by none other than himself as 11,000 years, and based on the yardstick that or the thumb rule that for each characteristic that we choose, that guna we choose, the taste we choose, if we count 100 years for saturation, and for 64 gunas, it becomes 6400 years. And when these are interacted, when these are the number of ways these can be interacted with 7 Kundalini chakras to exhibit different combinations of the karmacharana, that is 64,000 into 7. Sorry, the 16 gunas, when assuming each of them needs 100 years, then it becomes 1600. So 1600, when they interact with the 7 Kundalini chakras, it becomes 11,200 years. So Rama definitely got saturated in 16 gunas. That is why he is known as Shodasha Guna Sampanna. But he was not saturated in 64 as Narada described to Valmiki. So those 64 gunas or characteristics are still unsaturated, and anybody can tap that energy and invoke Rama through those energy, because he was not saturated. So anyway, so that is about Chatushashryu Kalaamayi. So this sloka is also having 2 namas. Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya, Chatushashryu Kalaamayi. So through Chatushashryu Pracharaadhya, the faculty of personality is being provided with the training, because it ends with Ya. Ya means the fire element of the Narayani, which is the personality. And through Chatushashryu Kalaamayi, which is terminating with E, Anahata Chakra, the residence of faculty of discretion. So faculty of discretion has been trained through Chatushashryu Kalaamayi. So the remaining namas we will explore in the next episode. Thank you.